Hey guys, what is going on? Eric here, aka U-Rounder, and this is my second shot at doing a video today. I did one a little earlier, but I ended up getting a little bit distracted by it and kind of going off on some tangents, and it just, I don't know. I was just like not totally comfortable releasing a video that was that disjointed, especially as my first one back after being away for a little bit. So the first thing I just want to mention real quick is I was on vacation last week, and that's why no videos went up. I do have a backlog of recordings that I should probably sit down and make into videos, so hopefully I will start working on that. It's just, again, like the quality is a little disjointed in some of them. It's interesting, 3s versus 3s. So, that's one thing I wanted to mention, that I was out on vacation. And other than that, things are going relatively well. The other thing I want to mention is that I believe, and the reason I'm going to title this as sort of a poker / vlog type of video, because I haven't put one of those out in a little bit. And I think today is Wednesday. And I think that on Monday, I am going to do another water fast. And I think, right, because I just sort of come up with ideas in my head and decide that I'm going to do them, the idea in my head that I came up with was that I was going to do a 14-day water fast. Which may seem like a lot. And before you go, saying that I'm like doing some sort of ridiculous thing in the comments by doing that, just keep in mind that the record for water fasting is like 382 days. And in my other video, I talked about this as well, the one that didn't come out that well. And I pulled up an article that was actually on the person that did it was a scientific paper. It was like a published paper that talked about this guy's 382-day water fast. I believe they did have to give him some supplements at one point. For those that don't know, like, most of the minerals and like vitamins and like nutrients, we'll just call it nutrients. I don't know all of this stuff that well, but most of a lot of the nutrients you need are actually stored in fat cells, right? Like, they're stored in your fat, so that when your body starts breaking down and metabolizing that fat for energy during like a water fast, you actually get those nutrients as your body breaks down the fat. It's kind of tempting to call here because I'm in position, but he raised it. He made it massive, right? He busted it up to like $6. So I'm just gonna like exploitively fold. I don't know if that's even that exploitable. I think that's probably just a good fold. Here we're out of position. We've got the ace. We probably can just go ahead and bet half pot. That's a pretty connected board. We don't need to bet super small, but about the most I ever bet in 3-bet pots is like half pot in general. Not a great card, but not the worst. Now, if we turn the betting over to him, it's going to be tough because we can see a free river, but we also may end up check calling and then having to check the flop. And if we hit our flush, he's going to check back. And if we don't, he's going to, bluff us off of it. And we're not going to really have a chance to bluff. That would be like a natural good spot to bluff. So I think betting is the best bet. Now, whether or not we bluff here, I mean, it's kind of tough, right? I'm looking at table 4, but I'm talking about table 2 because, right, like, I mean, if he called with the 10 on the flop, like, and then called, he had trips, but I would think he would raise at some point here. We're going to rebuy, obviously. So we do get the fold when we jam. So that's good. When he doesn't raise the turn, you can't think his hand is like crazy strong. And we don't represent that 10 very well. But on that queen river, we certainly can represent a few things. Some players might be able to put us on the 10 once we barrel the turn and jam the river. Like, they might be like, well, I don't think this guy would bet a 10 on the flop, but he sure as heck is acting like he has it now. And they'll change their read. Like, I do that sometimes. That's totally reasonable. All of a sudden, like, the action that they put forth starts to look a lot more like, a certain hand based on the way they play. And so I think that's kind of what happened on that hand. If he wanted to like go ahead and say maybe I had a 10. And then obviously the queen gives us a possible straight with ace jack. We could have like ace jack of diamonds or something. And our actual hand had an ace in it. So that helps. I think we need to peel here. We had the ace of diamonds. So I didn't realize that at the time, but that's kind of the perfect ace to have because we could totally have ace jack of diamonds there, which is one combination, like one hand. So, right, but like we could maybe have some other ace jacks. Anyway, darn it. I need to make, you know what? I'm going to turn on pop to front because I'm not going to be distracted by anything. So we are going to have pop to front enabled. That way we don't have those like accidental misfolds. So to get all in on the river here is going to be tough. We'd have to go 10. Actually, no, it's not that tough. 10, 10, 20. That would be 30, and he'd have like 28 left. 10. Okay. We unfortunately don't have a straight draw that I see. That ace is interesting. I don't know if we bet that ace or if we check that ace back, or if we just bet small. One of the downsides is he could have something like ace 10. But I think he would bet that. Maybe. I don't know. It'd be a lead if he did that, so that'd be kind of weird. I mean, he's got a full pot bet left. I mean, he can definitely put us on like a backdoor club draw or like a missed draw here and maybe call with like a king 10 if he thinks that we would like bluff that ace. And if he thinks, you know, I don't know what he thinks. That's a tough one. Like, I hate the idea so much of getting raised that I just jam there. But realistically, I'll bet if we look at that in Poker Snowy, or if we like really analyze that hand, the proper bet on the river is probably like a third pot or a quarter pot or a half pot or something like that actually prices him into calling with a 10. Because that's his most likely holding at that point is something like king 10. I think. That's what I think. So I left off talking about the water fasting. So I talked about the 382 day guy. He needed some supplements, but most nutrients, again, we'll just call it nutrients that you need are stored in your fat cells. So when you fast, when you stop eating food, your body kicks over to ketosis, which I've talked about a lot on the channel previously, but just Google ketosis. You can also Google like fasting ketosis, and I'm sure it would pop up and explain sort of the timeline. But essentially, it takes a day, maybe a day and a half, 2 days, for your body to fully switch into ketosis. And what that means is that your body is building using ketone bodies for energy, and no longer using glucose as its like fuel source. So you start essentially burning fat instead of glucose, which means now instead of having to like do the constant fueling, you essentially just use your fat stores for energy, which is what that's what they're designed for. That's how your body's designed to work. And so during a fast, you actually of the weight that you lose that's not water, it's most of the studies that I've seen have said it's somewhere in the 80 to 90% fat, and then the other 10% is muscle. So you do lose some muscle when you fast, but you also lose a lot of fat. And so another factor, well, why are you doing this, right? Like why do you want to go 10 or 14 days without food? So just another little FYI, I've already done a 10-day water fast, And it's really not that bad. I was planning on making that a 21-day water fast, and it did not work. But it really isn't that bad. You're not like hungry all the time. The most challenging part for me was having to cook my son food while I was like fasting. That's annoying. Like having, not annoyed at him, but just annoyed at the fact that I'm like cooking food and like having to smell it and then not eat it. Like that's definitely, if you don't have a kid, you don't have to worry about that. No, I don't want to. I mean, I'm probably folding this. This is a 4. So I 3-bet squeezed, and now he's 4-betting. And we've got ace queen offsuit, and we're out of position. So it's we'll just go ahead and fold. That's fine. No worries there. And this looks like a good opportunity to fold. So, so aside from the weight loss, right? Like the why are you doing this? So one, I've done it before. It's not that bad. I'd like to do at least a 7-day water fast every year for like the rest of my life. And I'll explain why. Again, if you just Google this, you'll find information on it. So if like what I'm saying sounds ridiculous or crazy to you, or you think it's unhealthy, like before you say anything, or maybe even like try to catch yourself before you start thinking things, like just go ahead, type it into Google and just take a look at what's out there. If what I'm saying sounds like some like really dangerous or really bad idea, like go ahead and like do a little Google homework before you think that, if you feel inclined to leave a comment or something about it. Anyway, I only say that because every time I mention it to people, I would say 4 out of 5 times, like they think that like that it's like likely that you would die if you didn't eat food for 10 days. And I say that like that's a dumb thought to have, because I know that that's just not how it works. And but yeah, people think that that's either impossible or like horribly unhealthy. So if that's your first gut like reaction, which it would have been mine years ago, I would have thought like you can't do that. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to digress too long on that. Just do your homework if you've got questions. Anywho, the reason that I want to make it a regular thing that I do every year is because it is very, very good for flushing like toxins and bad things out of your system. Like the big one is precancer cells. All right, so it helps your body will actually like get rid of precancer cells when you do a water fast. Like that's a study that's I guess, I don't know what to say, been proven, whatever, is a thing. So yeah, getting rid of precancer cells. Like some people will do a long fast to cure themselves of like eczema. There's a whole, like if you type up like fasting, like fasting treatment, you'll find a bunch of different things that can be treated with water fasting. So it's essentially an opportunity that gives your body a chance to rest. Your digestive system uses a ton of energy. And when you don't eat, your body kind of goes into repair mode, because it has like, it's not using all of the energy that it has for digestion, which uses a lot of energy. And so one interesting thing that I remember when I was first reading about this that kind of like was an aha moment was that, like when people are sick, they're typically not that hungry. And there's a very good reason for that. When you're sick, your body, like when, people say, hey, you need to get some food in you, you need energy so that you can get better. Like your body is actually doing what it's supposed to do and telling you what you're supposed to do because you're not hungry. It doesn't want any food so that it can use all that energy to actually go in and like fix you and heal you. And so that's why, even at the doctor, like when my son was sick, I asked like, hey, should I be trying to get him to eat food? It's like, if he's hungry, if he wants food, go ahead and give it to him, but don't try to force it. Don't worry about it. That's a thing. Like that's why you're not hungry. So I don't mean to like hammer that in too much, but it's that was a kind of an aha moment for me, because it's like, oh yeah, like when I am sick, I really don't feel like eating, and people are always like, you need to eat, you need to eat, you need to eat, because you're gonna get sick or whatever. So yeah, that's not always great advice. So yeah, now like whenever like my son's sick or whatever, if he asks for food and says he's hungry, I'll give it to him, but I never, try to like tell him he has to eat to get better, because that's just not true. Actually not eating will help you heal faster. Anyway, so getting rid of precancer cells is a good thing. So like fasting, doing like a fast every few months or every quarter or something is probably something that will help you live a lot longer, because it will, reduce the chances that you get cancer. There's some other benefits and things like that. Now, why am I doing a 14-day fast? Well, I tried to do a 21-day and I failed. I managed to get to 10. So I figure if I can do a 14-day, that'll be like a step closer. And then maybe like early next year, I can really, if I get like some time where there's some legitimate like coordination that needs to be done with doing a 21-day fast, because by the end of it, like you will get kind of like dizzy from standing up and stuff like that. Like I did get that in my 10-day. I was like dizzy from standing up. I actually have lost twice. Well, this is going to be the second time with aces, all in pre-flop today. So my EV line is going to be looking pretty sweet. However, that doesn't matter, as I would like to win more money, and losing those aces versus kings, aces versus queens, while understandable and mathematically normal, I still don't like it. So that's annoying. That's the second flip today that has gone that way. So that's annoying. Not flip. I mean, I call it a flip because I've lost 2 in a row, but that's the second aces versus, another pair that has lost. But whatever. So I think, that covers a few things. Okay, so why am I doing 14 days now? That's pretty much weight loss, right? So the limiting factor on how long you can fast, for the most part, is how much body fat you have. So if you have, I can look it up right now, but I won't, because the pop to front is turned on. Let's say just for example that I have, I don't know, use a round number, 50 pounds of body fat, or 40 pounds of body, we'll just say 50 for round number's sake. Let's say that I have like 50 pounds of body fat. Well, it's like easier, I guess, if you talk about percentage, but we know that we need like 4 or 5% body fat just to like coat all of our inner organs and things like that. So like our organs need a certain amount of body fat for like padding and protection. So like the minimum like reasonably healthy body fat percentage you can have is like probably around like the 5 to 6%. And that, obviously you guys know like 5 to 6% is ridiculously low. And somebody who has, 5% body fat looks ridiculous. Like they look like ripped or really unhealthy. I'm not sure which. Depends on how much muscle they have. Anywho, I'm trying to decide if this is a call. I guess I just have to be right 1 in 4 times. I'm like never right, but I have to be right so infrequently. We pretty much do that same thing every time there, and that's okay. Because like honestly, even if you do that like 20 times and 20 times it doesn't work out, like you'll do it, the 21st, 2nd, and 3rd time, you'll win all 3. I mean, it really does happen, but you just can't be too results oriented, because it's what you expect to happen is going to happen a lot, but it doesn't make it wrong. Now, maybe that it's still a fold there, but it's just my general point on those things. So, like in my example, let's just say that I have 50 pounds of body fat, and whatever percentage I need to remain healthy, let's say, is 10 pounds or 20 pounds. Well, I could do a 30-day water fast, essentially, but just very, very general numbers. You lose about a pound of body fat a day, maybe a little bit less, depending on how good your ketosis is working. But so in general, like a really overweight person can do a really long fast. and again, the only thing like in that 382-day fast was they did some supplements at one point. I thought when I heard the podcast, I found the paper online. I'm going to actually read that tonight. But yeah, I thought when I listened to somebody talking about it on a podcast, they said that they did one supplementation like halfway through. So I'll confirm that. Make sure that that's true, so I'm not giving you guys bad info. Yeah, so I can definitely afford to do a 14-day. That probably still won't take me anywhere close to like anything like 6% body fat, but it's also a good opportunity to do a nice long fast. And a long fast is going to be really good because it will work out more things. From what I've kind of read and seen, it looks like it's generally a little bit better to do like a long fast than like a bunch of short fasts. I think like, your body will actually like kind of do some cumulative healing that way. I could have jammed this turn, but I don't think our opponent was folding. On table 1 there. Yeah, so that's one reason is because I think you get a little bit more healing benefit out of doing a longer one. And right now, one of my goals is just to lose, some more weight and get down to a lower body fat percentage. So this is sort of the fastest way to do it. And it's like, there's the added benefit that not only is it a fast way to lose body fat, but it is also like really good for you for all the reasons that I've already gone over. So it might seem like a kind of like extreme weight loss thing, but it's actually like a kind of perfect one because it takes care of two things at once. And they're two fairly important things for being healthy. Anyway, I kind of wanted to talk about that just a tiny bit to get it out there a bit, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And I will probably be doing like, some daily videos or something, talking through, how it's going and the results and what happens, and maybe do some like before and after pictures. Because the 10-day fast, people notice, right? Like people notice when you lose 10 pounds. It is noticeable. So if I actually can do it and stick to it, 14 pounds, which is what I should kind of lose in body fat, will be very noticeable as well. And so that'll be kind of a fun before and after. What I'm doing right now is sort of in my head going through what questions or what things people might wonder about. One thing I need to look up is what kind of water to drink on a fast. I know I've been listening to some stuff recently that says that you really should be doing like spring water and mineral water and stuff that actually has minerals in it and doesn't have fluoride and chemicals and chlorine and all this other stuff. That's something I've never worried about in my life before. And I don't know. I've heard it from sources I trust, so I believe that it's a thing. I don't know how serious a thing it could possibly do if everyone's been doing it for like a long time. I suppose everyone hasn't been doing it for a long time, and maybe that's part of the issue is that everything used to be like springs and wells and things like that. So anyway, I don't want to digress into a discussion about water. Anyway, I do need to look it up though, because I do recall reading at one point that when you're doing a water fast, you want to be drinking distilled water. And you also want to be careful not to drink too much, because something with like pancreas or kidney or I don't know, something about too much water for one of your organs to handle processing can cause issues. So I need to do a little bit more research over this weekend before I start it again, because it's been a while since the last one I did. We're going to bet a little bit big here. 2 high cards is like pretty good for our range. And we've got a backdoor flush, backdoor straight draw. We miss both on the turn, which is bad. If we check here, we can't win. But, it's just, yeah, we have position, but we just didn't get the right turn card, right? I mean, that's a thing. Like, that's just not a card that we should really barrel on. I think our bet on the flop is fine. And I think that on, any club or any face card, we're essentially, other than so any jack or ace or queen, we can barrel. So it's like, I don't know, a third of the deck that we can barrel. So that's fine. And now he leads the river and we'll fold. Yeah, this video is going a lot better, a lot more like focused and pointed. So I will probably do some updates while it's going, and if anyone wants to, join me for part of it, talk to your doctor first. I'm probably not going to talk to mine, but I would recommend other people talk to theirs. I'm just not that worried because I already did a 10-day water fast, so I just don't think that there will be, I kind of already know what I'm getting into, and my body already appears to be fine with it. I actually felt great during the fast the last time I did it, and I particularly remember because I feel like when I'm in ketosis, like when I do the finger prick and I'm in ketosis, my mind is functioning at a much higher level. Like I feel like my mind is just better, right? Like I'm doing better when I'm in ketosis mentally. And so when you're fasting, you are in like deep ketosis. Like you'll get some real high numbers when you're water fasting. So the thing I remember from my last one is I was working at my other job, and I probably have talked about this before, but I needed to do, like, we were installing software on computers, and we had to get through like 250 laptops and put like all of the information on them. And you would think that I was on like day 6 or 7 of a 10-day water fast, right? Like I was into it. So, people at work were like, aren't you tired? Aren't you like out of it? Like, don't you feel sick or whatever? And no, I actually felt great. Yes, you are a little bit tired, like laying down feels good as you get later on into it. However, I actually felt like I was in really like peak mental performance during part of it. And one of the tasks that we had to do at work this one time was just installing all this software. And I ended up doing like half of them. And I was on a team where there were probably like 5 people there. And I ended up running through half of them myself just because I was just focused and on point and like moving quick. So I don't know. That's just a little side note that I don't think just because I'm doing the water fast that I'll have to be completely out of commission from doing any other life stuff. The things I have noticed that like I need to be careful with are just when I stand up. Like that's a thing. Like your blood pressure, I guess, probably goes down. I'm guessing if that's, if standing up makes you like dizzy or whatever, that's probably a blood pressure thing. So I guess a 10 is the only card in the deck here, and he's betting pretty big, so I just don't have the odds to call. Yeah, we just have to muck. And this is 3-handed, which kind of sucks. But I'm going to wrap this video up in a minute. And I'm actually going to just sit out next big blind on that table. I'm guessing this guy has an 8. Yeah, this guy had an ace too. So yeah, I should be able to still like do poker and still, make videos and all of that. I'm not sure if I'm going to want to drive for lift during that time. I think it'll be okay because I'm sitting and it shouldn't be bad, but I'll kind of see how I feel and go from there. I'm not going to do anything that's like potentially dangerous, but just sitting in a car and driving around, I don't think will be an issue. So yeah. And then just being really good about like keeping food out of my apartment and not, and making sure that the people I associate with in my life know that I'm doing that, so I can avoid situations that would make it really hard for me to stay on track. Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to try a 14-day water fast and see how it goes. I think that I hope that by sort of announcing it, and I'm going to sort of do it a little bit like publicly and try to post some results, that is obviously with the intent that it will keep me honest more. If I'm doing it and I'm the only one that knows I'm doing it, that's still really cool. But it is a little harder, I would think, to not cave or not make a slip up. So other questions that you might have are like medications. Like what do you do about medications when you're fasting? Great question. I need to look into that. I think it's like optional either way, right? Some people do it. If it's like some medication that you absolutely have to have, I'm sure people probably take it. Most of my medications are, I would say, mostly optional. So I will probably suspend use of those. And like, because my mental focus should be up higher because of the ketosis, hopefully that sort of balances out me not being on Adderall, which is an amphetamine that I'm sure like all of you know exactly what I'm talking about. So hopefully the ketosis sort of balances that out so that I don't all of a sudden lose a ton of focus when I'm like at the poker table. The other thing is if I start at Monday, like halfway through, the casino in the MGM National Harbor is going to open, and that's like 11 or 12 minutes from my apartment. Okay, this is going to be a little bit longer. I totally forgot. This is the other thing I wanted to talk about is the MGM. So there's, the MGM National Harbor is opening on the 8th of December. So in 8 days, the MGM National Harbor is open. So I definitely need to get some scratch together, as Worm would say, and at least get, like $500 so that I can go play at the new casino when it opens, because I can't imagine a better situation or a better time to play poker than at a brand new casino's opening. So I don't know if took him a long time to call with the nuts. That's okay. I'm sure he wasn't slow rolling. I'm sure he was on other tables. That's fine. So I don't know if for some reason in the next 8 days I can't just like power and like drive a ton of lift. I guess that's my plan right now, is to just drive a bunch of lift and get some scratch together. But if not, I might actually open up the opportunity to do some staking or whatever. I don't know if any of the people that watch my videos are interested in anything like that, and I've never really done it before because I've always just had my own money to play with. But I'm not totally close to the idea of letting one or more people put some money up to stake me at 2.5, right? Because like normally I play at 1.2, but in all honesty, it's a brand new casino right outside of Washington, D.C. opening. And I can't imagine that like the first week or so, there would be a better 2.5 game anywhere in the world. So I think it would behoove me to take advantage of that. And if I can't get it together myself, I think it would probably still be a good idea to try and sit down and play that game, even if I can only make, half of my profit or whatever, however staking works. Like I said, I've never really done it before, so I need to figure it out. But anyway, that's something I'm thinking about, and I wanted to bring it up. I would still absolutely plan on putting YouTube videos out every day. I don't want to ever stop with that general plan. This is interesting. What the heck is going on here? Oh, he's raising. So what is he? Did he call with like? I guess he could have called with a set of nines. That's the most likely hand, right? That makes sense to raise with. So if he has nines, he has nines full of kings, and he thinks he's like big bad wolf. If he has king nine, I'm in big trouble. But there's only one king left in the deck, so most likely he has a set of nines or the other two sevens in the deck, or he has the hearts. So obviously we're calling. He does have the king nine, so that's a nightmare scenario. I am running like dog shit lately. Officially irritated with how bad I'm running. You guys have watched me play like hundreds, if not, maybe not thousands, but definitely you've watched me play hundreds of hours of poker. I really don't get irritated with running bad. And the only times I do, I suppose, are times where I kind of need money. So maybe that's the only reason why I'm a little irritated by that. But that's kind of stupid. Anyway. you can only get so upset. All right, so let's see. MGM. So things I wanted to cover. I just got back from vacation. That's why there were no videos. I do have a backlog of videos that I'd like to get out. So stay tuned for those. And water fasting. I'm going to try to do another water fast. Take off some weight. And then also, like, the only other thing I want to mention about that is one of the things is, like, I've been eating and drinking crap lately. I just haven't been my normal healthy self. I haven't been in ketosis. I haven't been checking my blood sugar and checking my ketones and all the good stuff I want to be doing. And I've just kind of fallen off the wagon of motivation. And I know that there are some, like, a couple, like, little life reasons for that sort of come and go, and these things happen. So I'm not beating myself up. I'm not, like, terribly upset about it. However, I just think a good 14-day water fast is a good way to, like, reset my life, to, reset my priorities a little bit, reset my diet, and, kind of get a fresh start at, healthy food, get back to not really drinking, get back to some healthy food, get back to a nice daily routine, and, try to get going with that stuff. So that's my plan. So hopefully it'll be interesting. Hopefully everything works out, and I'll be able to, put up some videos to help educate other people about what it's like to do, what the benefits are, how I feel as I'm going through it, and things like that. I'm kind of excited. I do remember some really interesting things happening after, like, 4 or 5 days without food. Like, there's some interesting things that happen. And for me, I didn't make it. The last time I just didn't make it long enough to the point where, like, I, like, really changed my relationship with food at all. Maybe if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I mean, like a lot of people have, like, a weird relationship with food in the sense that they, food is sort of like something they use to, like, I don't know, kind of like alcohol. Like they eat when they're sad or whatever, like the fat dude in Austin Powers. So that's, like, a real thing. And I don't think that really, apparently a lot of people experience that when they do, like, a water fast. They, what about $8 here? I want to get called by, like, a 7 or a 9. Boom, 7. Cool. So maybe 14 days will help. The other thing I did on the last one that I won't be doing on this one is on the last water fast, I had coffee the first few days. I sort of weaned myself a little bit into it more by starting by just having regular black coffee, 0 calories, but black coffee. This time I'm just going to go straight to water. So I'll stop eating at midnight. So 12 a.m. Eastern time on 12 a.m. will be Monday night. That, like, I won't have, I mean, probably it'll be more like 8 p.m. on Sunday, but that'll be sort of where I measure from is midnight. 12 a.m. Eastern Monday night will be, like, the starting point. All right, well, this video went a little longer than I was expecting, but I thought it was pretty good. I thought we had some, not, like, terribly great hands or anything, but definitely, I mean, we got all in a few times. I guess that's fun. The result wasn't all that fun of those all-ins, but we'll get them next time. All right, guys, if you got questions, leave them in the comments. I'm usually pretty good about getting back to you on those. And if you got, questions about the water fasting or the MGM, or you want to give me money, that'd be great. So I'm mostly kidding about that last one, but yeah, I mean, why not leave it on the table? So I will see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. You make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and I will see you guys, I'm sure, tomorrow with another great video. I will talk to you guys later. This is you, Rounder, and you keep on grinding. I suppose I should finish this hand right here, actually. Third pair. This guy's betting full pot. That one I don't think we need to call. This we can fold. I'll finish out these blinds real quick. He had the ace. Did he show the ace? Good for him. What do I want to... Oh, I was supposed to have my son tonight, but I'm getting a text from his mom, so maybe I might just switch nights. She's like far away with him, and we have a pretty good working relationship as parents. Pretty good co-parenting relationship, so that's an awesome thing. If you guys ever have a kid and then get divorced, one, I wouldn't recommend any of those things, but two, like, figure out the co-parenting shit. It's super better. Like, it's way better. Yeah, so that's my little 2 cents on that right now. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the video because she's calling, so I gotta take care of this, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.